Who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me. It is me. It's Mike Lepre, King Mike L. This is Get the Papers, Get the Papers. It is a daily touch and show, almost like touch and go, uh, for us to stay connected with anyone who is daring to listen. Today is March 29th, 2022, which is 03292022. Man, I couldn't come up with any numbers that the math geeks would like for that one, so I just skipped it. Now, going on in the world today. First of all, you know, the weather's starting to get better. I don't know how you're feeling about the weather. I'm a big fan of the weather. I like when iced coffee season comes around because I quite honestly will not switch to iced coffee uh, until summer. You know what I mean? Like you drink Shamrock Shanks. Man, a Shamrock Shank would be awful. That would be like a green knife that somebody made. Anyways, Shamrock Shakes are for St. Patty's Day, just like I believe iced coffees are for said summer. Maybe in the spring, maybe in the spring. Um, the my favorite coffee, while we're on coffees, by far would be Dunkin' Donuts. Now, why, pray tell, do I like Dunkin' Donuts? That's a good question. That's a really good question. I would ask myself that myself. Well, here it is. I'm used to it. It's to me, it's what coffee is. If that makes any sense, not that it does. It just that's ground zero of coffee. The whole Starbucks phenomenon. Nah, nope. But here's the thing. I gotta drink coffee black. I can't drink coffee with sugar or milk, especially, or any kind of like cream or dairy or anything else in it. For a couple of reasons. One, bad for my stomach, or as I would say, it's bad for my belly. Uh, Two, it's really bad for my face. Like my face would be the worst result of um having my coffee the way I used to. I used to roll up, right? I always think of this. So here I am in a dress shirt and a tie, right? This is, I don't know, circa like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I'm driving to work, right? I got a shirt underneath the shirt I got on. I got the tie on. I remember sweating and whatnot. And I just remember the black, getting a iced black coffee, right, was out of my realm of thinking. I would stop in Dunkin' Donuts and I would order, and can I get a large iced coffee, extra extra? Which, whew, when I look back on what I was actually drinking, is I was drinking an iced coffee, not much of it, right? And then there was what, 6 creams and 6 sugars? Because it's I guess a regular is 3 and 3, and then an extra extra is 6 and 6. Something stupid like that. It was like, why was I bothering to call it coffee? It really wasn't coffee at that point. I mean, with 3 sugar, 6 sugars, 6 creams, where the frig is the coffee? They just pour the coffee on at the end so that you get that taste. You know, that initial taste. Oh, it's coffee. But nah, it's not really. It's like a milkshake. It ends up being more like a milkshake, right? And all it does is make your face swell up and gives you stomach problems, and it just makes no point of it. If you're gonna drink coffee, drink coffee. If you want to drink some sort of concoction like that, have at it, but don't call it coffee. I think that's another thing. And so while we're on this topic, let's move over to beer. There's another topic. That's see how I transitioned there. They're both beverages. I don't know if you caught that. But all right, so here's the thing with beer. So there's beer, right? Yeah, right. There's beer. Like used to, like from the '80s to the '90s, we drank beer, and we didn't really care what kind of beer it was. It was swill at times. It was natural light at times. I've chased the demon of natural light many a times. Oh boy. Colt 45s, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. And now everybody's a beer connoisseur. Everybody's got this. Oh, it's you gotta go to this place, this little hut. Oh, I went to this barn out in the woods and they make this beer and they put it in these stone cups. And it's the greatest beer I've had in my life. You're like, "Yeah?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, that's where we got it." Well, so what is it? Well, It's got grape in it, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, time out. You can't have grape in beer. That's not the flavor of beer. That's why I have such a problem, and maybe it shows my age. I'm like, even guys I know, buddy, I can talk about, gentleman Dave does it. They'll be like, oh, it's like an IPA or it's this or that, and it tastes like, oh, this one tastes buddy, one time it tastes exactly like Reese's chocolate, and it's like, then you ain't drinking beer. Like I don't, where is the disconnect from you people with me? When I say me, I only mean like if I drew a circle around myself, that's the only person I'm speaking for. Like within that circle, I'm talking for that guy. Anybody outside the circle, why would I talk for them? So beer should be beer. Period. Like there could be, stronger beer, different beers, got a hint, maybe a hint of this, maybe this or that. But now it's like, and then next thing you know, beer seltzer. Now there's seltzer beer. Like, what can we do to make the beer seem healthier? Let's add seltzer. Yeah. Let's make it lighter. Make it give like less calories. Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah, it's seltzer. There's seltzer in it. No, it's not the same. I mean, it's unbelievable where we're at with beverages. I'm not a big fan. I'm really not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of all the different flavored beers that you guys are drinking. I'm sorry if I'm hurting feelings right now. I'm probably hurting feelings, but that's okay. Sometimes you need to get your feelings hurt to figure out what you're doing wrong. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, you got to have these moments. You got to have moments where, someone tells you you're a complete idiot, and you go, oh my God, I really am a complete idiot. Problem is, most people never have those moments. They won't allow those moments. I was on stage in a band once in Worcester, Massachusetts. And so we had played a couple of shows. I think it was like a date where we had played a show that day, and then we drove to Worcester to play the second show. Like back at one time, we were just scrapping to play shows nonstop, and there was a couple of weekends where we were booked like, 2 places in a day, and we had to make the journey. So I remember being in Worcester. It was the Espresso Bar. Now I had shown up with an undershirt on, this sweatshirt that had a hood. It was a really nice looking sweatshirt. I had on white sneakers with blue jeans and the sweatshirt. They kind of went, right? Underneath my sweatshirt, I always wear, when I'm in King Miguel mode, my wristbands. If you watch any of the shows, you'll see me wearing wristbands as well. So I just remember we're on stage. Now, side note, gentleman Dave and myself decided to grow mustaches and just have a mustache for like 3 or 4 shows in a row. We called it, to ourselves, we called it the Mustache Tour. So back, we're at Worcester. It's part of the Mustache Tour, and I'm on stage. Now, it's getting warm. We were the type of band that would literally take our shirts completely off. Like, it would probably look horrifically barbaric today, but we would start playing, and the minute anyone started sweating, really, there was like 4 or 5 of us, maybe 3 or 4 of us of the group, we just take our shirts off. But you know what I mean? Why not? Let's just have some fun. But I digress. We're at the Espresso Bar, and I take my shirt off. Now, the song starts, and I'm rapping. Now, let me explain what I have on. My hair is cut short. It's like slick back, like like this kind of, right? All I have is a mustache, right? I'm a thin guy. I'm wearing a white, we call them Italian tank tops. Spouse, instigator. It's a spouse instigator shirt, right? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? If it was a wife beater, if that's what I want to say. So it's just white, right? And I have on the black wristbands, and then there's blue jeans with my belt for some reason, white sneakers, and just a mustache. Now, again, let's just go through that. It's me, Mike Lepre, right? I got short black hair, cut really short, just a black mustache, no other facial hair, right? A white wife beater, black, 2 black wristbands, belt with a buckle, tight blue jeans for some reason, white sneakers. I'm in the middle of the song, and I can see that the people in the band are actually laughing. They're having a hard time playing because they're laughing. And I know they're laughing at me because I'm not in on the joke. I'm not laughing. I never was told a joke. Plus, they're all staring right at me, which will tell you that I might be the joke, because when they're staring at you after it's your verse and they're still staring at you, you definitely are the joke. So I remember one of the dum-dums was saying to me, I'm like, I'm on stage. I'm like, what do you want? I can't hear you. Can't hear you. I'm like, still can't hear you. Like, I get close to him, and all I hear, I swear to God, in those words, must have made Dum Dum feel so happy. This is Dum Dum Jr. He must have felt so happy when he heard this, because, I mean, it was perfect. And it ruined my whole entire day, weekend. That was it. Like, that was almost a moment where I wanted to put the mic down, go walk in the back in the green room and just say, I'm good. Like, you don't need me on stage. Because what he said to me was, you look like Freddie Mercury. And when he said the words, it went in my head, my head. It rattled around for about a second. And then I did detective work. And I saw that I had short black hair, just a black mustache, a wife beater on with black wristbands, tight blue jeans with a belt buckle, and white sneakers. I, in fact, was wearing a Freddie Mercury outfit. I mean, that's like Live Aid. I think I was dressed like Freddie Mercury from Live Aid. And it was so upsetting that I immediately ran for my sweatshirt. That's the kind of moments we need to have. Someone needs to tell you, hey, by the way, you look like Freddie Mercury. And if you do, hey, all right, well, I do. Let me get out of this situation, because if you want to look like Freddie Mercury, that's fantastic. But if you're on stage in front of people performing and you had no intention at all of looking like Freddie Mercury, you need to know so you can get out of that outfit. That's kind of what I'm saying. See how I tie that in? I did the beverage thing, and then I did this thing. You see how and I'm not even writing this. This is just how it goes. This is how it works. So let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about something separate. Let's talk about the paranormal world. That's something we've been dealing with a lot here on our channel. I want to discuss a couple of things. Bigfoot. I'm having a growing connection to Bigfoot, and I can't explain it. I've had many a Bigfoot connoisseurs, or how do you want to say it? Hunters, not hunters, researchers, all kinds of like people that have psychic powers. So if you didn't know, Bigfoot is literally now like, he's got his own pronouns. He's everything. Bigfoot encompasses everything. He's live. You got to hunt him. He's mystical, where he walks around a corner and disappears. He lives in the ground. He's from like another realm that only you can see. He's attached to your soul. It's a guy from down south in a bad suit. These are all Bigfoot. Like, to me, Bigfoot was this ape type thing that was in the woods, lived in woods, and ran around and hid in the woods. It hid deep in woods. That's all I knew, right? Adding the whole thing about now that he's paranormal, I almost feel like Bigfoot shouldn't be considered like. So there's paranormal Bigfoot, and then there's like Bigfoot, the big man gorilla thing that lives in the woods. Bigfoot, that thing, like that living, existing thing. It's kind of like saying, Loch Ness monsters could live in the lake. They could be stuck on a time loop where you're seeing something that's colliding. It could be where they're like a premonition or some sort of religious thing. No, the Loch Ness monster was what? Nessie, and she lived in the Loch Ness. That's what she was, right? That was her. That was her. Loch Ness monster, Bigfoot, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, etc. I think there needs to be a part of paranormal that's strictly characters, not like they're not like all these things. They're just these characters that actually exist. There's Bigfoot. There's his cousin, the white version, the Yeti, right? They could all come sit at the table. It'd be a round table, so nobody seems like they got an edge. It makes everybody feel calm, right? Loch Ness monster. That would be Nessie. Just Nessie, right? We could have Creatures of Black Lagoon show up. We could have Frankenstein show up. We could have Dracula, and no, it's gonna be Dracula, like Dracula, like not a bunch of them, not a bunch of vampires, not this whole like run on vampires. You know what I mean? They'd just be Dracula. No zombies. No zombies. Look, I loved zombie films back in the day, but I've been so overly beaten with zombies over the head. It's almost like I feel like we're being programmed to just understand that zombies exist so that, when they start rolling up on us, this in the sunburst completely and snakes and frogs fall from the sky. You know what I'm trying to say? That kind of thing. But hopefully it's not for a couple of years. I mean, hopefully that we can push that one back. So, like, back to Bigfoot, paranormal. I don't know. Is Bigfoot paranormal? Because shouldn't Bigfoot be considered like a rare animal, like a super rare creature, a super rare species, right? Something like that, as opposed to like paranormal. But see, that's the problem. Some people say to me, "Well, he's they can go through time, walk through different realms," and it's like, look, I'm totally with a lot of this. I make it a little more, maybe being a little more difficult than I should be, but I'm having fun with it. But I do believe in a lot of these things connected or whatever, this, that, the other, a lot. But some people take it to the point where I can't follow you anymore. Like, if you're going to say that this thing can happen in these 500 different ways and that this could happen in 500 different ways, it's like, so this is all a crapshoot. This is ridiculous. Like, how do you organize 500 versions of something and then go on to another thing that you have to choose 500? That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There has to be some continuity within time lines, even for them to exist, guy. Like, pay attention. There's got to be some connection. There's got to be some continuity. It has to be a thread that's constant. It can't be constantly interrupted. It can't be constantly jumped through. It can't be constantly done to things like that. That doesn't even make sense. Picture strings on a goddamn piano, right? All right, now picture strings going the opposite way, making the tic-tac sign. It's tic-tac-toe sign. Just imagine like all kinds of strings. But those friggin' strings can't, they got to go where they got to go. So it's called continuity. So I can't see Bigfoot jumping realms, all right? Him having mystical powers, now it's not even a Bigfoot. Now that's an insult. Like, we're nearing the territory where we're going to start to have to call him a cryptid. He's going to be that famous cryptid. And they're going to go, who? Bigfoot? You'd be like, oh, no, we can't say that anymore. Why not? Well, the Bigfoot or the big feet, if we're speaking about them in plural, because I made that up, the big feet don't like to be called that. No, they're not. They're not, because they're so much more than having big feet, is what they're trying to say. They are paranormal. They're mystical. They can jump realm to realm. Why wouldn't you call him the big hairy realm jumper? That's what he wants it to probably be called, other than Bigfoot. We call him Bigfoot. Why? Because we found an imprint of a big ass foot. Right? He's lucky he's not called Big Ass Foot, because it is what it is. So he's called Bigfoot. So I'm telling you, eventually this thing's gonna swing in about 10 years. You mock my damn words, where we're gonna have to start calling him, whatever cryptid, something cryptid, because that's what they're being called now. Those type of species, which I don't think Bigfoot belongs there, but they call them cryptids. And I'm telling you, Bigfoot is not a flattering name, not at all. Like, as we lose baseball teams, football teams, hockey teams because of their nicknames, as like the world just keeps crumbling down and people don't want to hear you say something, and they're punching people for saying certain things, and they're taking it too far, as if everyone's opinion matters and they just all got to get in and all got to say something. Oh my God, Maronda, me. I mean, let's be honest. I used to know 2 or 3 smart people. I did. Maybe 2 or 3. I know who they are. Like, I remember because I would think, oh yeah, well, I could talk to so-and-so because he's smart. I know 2 or 3, right? The rest I knew were dum-dums. I mean, that's how it goes. And I don't mean, that's not even a bad thing. Like, the dum-dums are just normal. That's just a normal person. Like, there's the idiots. There's always an idiot in every group. I mean, forget about those guys. But now, because of Facebook, Instagram, especially because of that TikTok, YouTube, every other social media that I'm missing, Snapchat, whatever you want to call it. Now it's just, you hear, man, I had no idea that I was friends with so many scholars, Rhodes Scholars. Like, I had no idea. I was friends with so many. They're like 2 sentences away from running for office. Do you know what I mean? They're ready to run for office. Like, we lived through a time where we're always going to remember it, because it's going to be a time where a lot of friendships were lost and made. A lot of things that were normally done changed. From being locked down and everything shut off, things skidded. They didn't know where to go. So, like, I don't know. I think that was the big change. If you want to know what's really messed up with me, I believe that in 1995, between 95 and 97, we definitely had some sort of like bump, universe bump. The Mandela effect is by far the one thing that I believe in. Like, I really believe in the Mandela effect. There's a lot of those things that I know are seemingly different. And I'll tell you what, the worst one by far to me was Ed McMahon working for Publishers Clearinghouse. So, not to date myself, but I remember Ed McMahon showing up at people's houses with a gigantic check that said Publishers Clearinghouse, and he would tell people that they won the $1 million Publishers Clearinghouse, or the 10,000. Back when I was a kid, it was probably like, you won the $2,000. They were like, oh my God, $2,000. What am I gonna do? All came in like wooden nickels. But anyways, he was Johnny Carson's sidekick. If you ever watched the Carson Tonight Show. So, so Carson did a spot where he shows up on Letterman. But Letterman was the show right after. And he brings with him a gigantic check. And he apologizes to Dave. To Dave, I'm sorry that my good friend Ed McMahon couldn't be here. But Dave, it seems, and he turns the check around, gigantic check, and he says, it seems you've won the Publishers Clearinghouse. Now, why would Johnny bring a check of a different company than Ed McMahon was actually working for? The joke would be lost, would it not? like Johnny doesn't need that money. He wouldn't like just do Publishers Clearinghouse because they could cut him a separate check. Publishers Clearinghouse said that Ed McMahon has never worked for them ever. He worked for another thing just like it. But yet, I'm telling you, Ed McMahon was on Publishers Clearinghouse paperwork. I've seen it. I have in my lifetime, but it doesn't exist. So enjoy that Johnny Carson YouTube footage of him giving David Letterman a check from Publishers Clearinghouse. Well, it's almost 5:00, ladies and gents. You have just completed, hopefully, your work day. I hope you enjoy your Tuesday night. Tuesdays are a great night to do nothing because you get to go to Wednesday tomorrow and be in the middle for hump day. And that's fantastic. Once you're in the middle for hump day, you're good, guy. You're good. Because all you do is get to Wednesday night, keep it kind of simple. Bang. Just like back in college, you stop from Thursday night on. You make Thursday night a banger. Friday night's kind of like a more of a, but it's still going to be a banger. And then Saturday night, you make it another banger. And then Sunday night in the afternoon, that's your fourth. And that's how you party on the weekend. Okay, then. Guys, thanks for listening. I hope I was some help in getting your mind off of your work. You can always give me a like, drop me any kind of email. Let me know how I'm doing. Check me out on Facebook. You'll find me, King Mike Keller. Just send me a message. Let me know you listened. Let me know what you thought. I appreciate it. So enjoy your day. For me, Mike Lepre, this was Get the Papers on March 29th, 2022. The work day is done. Dun, dun, dun.